Welcome back to Seaweed Brain, a Percy Jackson podcast. Today is Friday, April 4th. We are here for The Red Pyramid, chapters 34 and 35, live from the Duat, live from Tariff Eve. Carter has a migraine. They're laying horizontal on the floor, and we're still doing this episode, so stick around.
Get ready for Netflix's gripping new medical drama, Pulse. Set in a cutting-edge Miami trauma center, third-year resident Dr. Danny Sims is unexpectedly thrust into a promotion when beloved Chief Resident Dr. Xander Phillips gets suspended. Then, with the emotional and physical stakes at their highest, a storm will push the hospital and its residents to their limits. Witness how life can change in a heartbeat when you're operating under pressure. Watch Pulse, only on Netflix.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. It's tax season, and we're all a bit tired of numbers. But here's one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now here's a good number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it. Guaranteed. Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Erica, joined as always, but today by a horizontal Carter. How are you doing, Carter?
Honestly, I'm doing okay right now. Yes, I am on the floor for head pain alleviation reasons, but I'm still happy to be here.
Let's bring back laying on the floor. I think that we should bring that back into our daily routines.
I think so too. I feel like my back's gonna be so good after this.
Are you bending your knees to relieve any low back pain as well while you're lying horizontal on the floor?
I am also bending my knees.
That lovely voice you heard was Sophia, our returning guest. Sophia's here today, live still from spring break.
Of course, back to back.
Back to back. We were talking about Sophia's cute outfit and about how fashion trends are going to be leaning towards chainmail in the coming future due to the impending not only tariffs and lack of ability to buy things, but also glass war.
The class war, of course. I guess we're going to see a rise in craft classes, I think. Everyone's going to try to learn how to make their own clothes. We're going to see a lot more patchwork.
You know that whenever there's a Hunger Games renaissance, it means there is a class war impending.
100%. It was the first was right before the 2008 recession, right? The first trio.
It was around there, yeah.
After I finished Sunrise on the Reaping, I immediately started rewatching all the movies, of course, and I'm currently on Mockingjay Part 1.
I would never be able to do it. So I can't relive that. After Catching Fire, it's just trauma. Because one, Donald Sutherland's gone, Philip Seymour Hoffman's gone. It's just too much for me.
Philip Seymour Hoffman is acting down in these movies, right? I always love these movies, but rewatching them, I'm like, everyone is acting down, and the script is really good. It's so tight.
The Hunger Games was my first introduction to Philip Seymour Hoffman, and I do not regret that because him as Plutarch was honestly, I was like, this, how can he get better than this? And it does, if you just watch his movies.
One notable exception, I do have to shout out, Miley Cyrus's ex-husband, who I still believe is a noticeable blight upon the movie.
It is. I ignore him. I completely block him out. I mean, he's a blight even as his own character, which I think is perfect casting. No one likes Gale.
Ooh, wake that up. I really feel is this true that there's no pro-Gale people left on the earth?
Yeah.
And I think that's for the best.
Because it's not about the war crimes. It's about him being a little baby.
No, it's him kissing Katniss after she went to the Hunger Games. It was just why now, Gale? All of a sudden you saw her with Peeta, and now you gotta feel like you gotta jump in. I don't know. I never liked it. Never been.
The reason I never liked Gale was the 2-year age gap. It was too much for me.
That's weird too. That was weird too.
As a kid, I was like, I don't like that.
Honestly, valid. Well, 2-year age gap specifically. It's he's 18, she's 16, right? Or something.
Yeah.
That is weird.
That's illegal.
Also, he felt like her cousin. I'm like, this feels incestuous too. I felt like none of it felt comfortable to me.
Wait, is he her cousin?
He felt like her cousin. He's practically part of the family.
Oh, sure.
As a kid, I was really tuned into the Hunger Games as this radical expression and exploration of what it is to be a girl that other people think doesn't have feelings, that was really what I was attached to it through and by, and
that's really real.
Jennifer Lawrence's performance I just thought was so brilliant as a young woman who everyone perceives as not being likable and not being attractive and all of this stuff, and how she transforms into the figure of the movement. That was the thing that as a kid I was the most fascinated by and hooked into, and now I'm rewatching these movies and I feel like I'm watching completely different movies and experiencing the entire story in a completely different way. Not that that other way is invalid, but that was just what, like, it's so interesting what stuck out to me as a kid. And then again, the last time I watched these movies was like 4 years ago versus right now. I feel like I'm watching completely different.
Like now, is it all about Philip Seymour Hoffman and Julianne Moore?
Now it's all a political thriller. Yeah, 100%. Just watching Mockingjay Part 1, especially watching them treat, like, I just got to the scene where President Coin is sitting with Plutarch Heavensbee and Katniss at the table, and they're doing the exact same thing to her that the Capitol was.
Putting her on the stage. Oof. Oh my gosh. I think for me, I got into Hunger Games right after my series of the Fortunate Events phase. So I was very much into like lucky, resourceful older sister. Yeah. And I was like, that's me. It's me coded. And so I really appreciated this other brand of resourcefulness, whereas like Violet Baudelaire was very like books, engineering. Candace was more nature and archery and living up the land. And it was very, very insightful for me in terms of like reorganizing my relationship to the earth and how to potentially like make use of that as well.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, now, wait, I feel like we both shared, so now you have to briefly share, Carter. This is a sneak preview of when Carter eventually finishes Sunrise on the Reaping, what our Patreon episode will be like.
I'm like 15 pages in right now. I forgot my tablet at home yesterday, so I read a little bit on my phone on the bus, and maybe that's dedication. Why I'm on the
that's
floor
why you have a
migraine.
Right Never read on your phone on the bus.
Whew, it's a San Francisco bus too, you know. So like these are people who are like the bus is like going downhill at a 45-degree angle, and then
that's like Princess Diaries
to the stop sign. Ooh, I don't know that I have that much more to say about the Hunger Games, other than that I read all of the books while my library CD of Avril Lavigne's "Keep Holding On" single was playing on repeat. Like the soundtrack was just that 3.5 minute long song constantly. And the one other thing was that when I have never seen the Mockingjay movies because I think they just like took too long to come out. I was just not invested at that point. However, when I was reading the book,
the posters went off on those movies. I remember as a kid, I was like,
"This
was hard as fuck."
I believe that the posters were hard, and I don't know, like I was really into Natalie Dormer also at that point in time, and so I'm trying to remember what the reasoning would have been. But when reading the book, my main like frustration or like confusion was with the portrayal of President Coin. Maybe this would be a good time for me to revisit the movies and see if I feel differently about it, or if the books and the movies are just really divergent or something. But as I was reading it and she shot her, I was like, that's what? I was really not
surprised, I guessed. First I was like, what? But I was like, it made sense because I hated Coin too. I was just like, this bitch needs to go. And I was like, I wish...
It was like literally out of left field for me. I was like, I know that you don't like her, but now you're going to murder her in front of everybody? Like, whoa.
Massive Mockingjay
you can't,
spoilers.
Like, get her voted out in the next election or something? Damn.
The more I reflected on it as a kid, I was just like, this made sense. Because honestly, at that point, Snow was kind of growing on me. He just felt, of course he was evil, but he was more like entertainingly evil. I was just like, you know what? He can live for an hour. Coin needed to go.
I know. I have to say, even now, I'm like, I think he's just such a compelling character that when he's gone, it's disappointing.
And it is a vacuum. Like, who's gonna be like the charming evil guy that I love to hate? With this cacklingness, like, and that's part of the reason was,
and that's part of the reason why we're the Capitol and not Katniss, even though we all think we're Katniss, we're actually the Capitol, because we're like, oh, President Snow, what a charming guy.
And all the girls who were singing for Snow during the song "Words of Snakes" that I think are a downfall. They are the weaklings in our society.
No, actually, rereading Sunrise on the Reaping was giving me PTSD from reading Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and that movie coming out and people sympathizing with Snow way too much.
All my friends are like, Snow with his buzz cut, he's so hot. I'm like, guys, do not be fooled. This man is a fascist murderer.
He also just looked okay.
Oh, the reaction to the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes movie was a 2024 election indicator.
I think that's
we should have known.
Suzanne Collins was writing like, sounds like the reason. She's like, I need to wake the people up again.
Yeah, she was like, wow, everybody didn't get this one so hard. Here's another one.
I will say, okay, the wig game I think was right. That is the one thing I remember about
the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
No, the last one, Mockingjay,
Part 2.
I really enjoyed Julianne Moore's wig, and I feel like she needs to get back into that particular type of wig bag.
It was ugly, and I liked it for her. It was ugly, dull.
Like, it wasn't beautiful, but it was so severe and effective. And I thought, like, such an appropriate film piece. And Julianne Moore, like, I know she has some signature red hair, but also she could have her every other role signature, you know, like, flat to her cheeks, silver gray bob.
Anyway, that was a Tariff Eve-induced conversation about the Hunger Games Renaissance, because that's the only thing taking up my brain right now. I have to like actively distract myself with something other than the Hunger Games in order to fall asleep at night this entire week since I have finished Sunrise on the Reaping. My coworkers have like come into my dressing room and been like, Eric, are you okay? Is something on your mind? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And they're like, you don't look fine. And I'm like, oh, it's because of the Hunger Games. Like, I'm thinking about the Hunger Games.
If you're looking for a fun little distraction, especially to help you fall asleep, I've been really enjoying I can't believe I'm saying this. The new Shondaland property is like very, I think, light, good, fall asleep material. It's Uzo Aduba's star turn as like the detective about the murder in the White House. I think that this would really serve the specific purpose you're describing. Either that or, oh my god, Mid-Century Modern is the other thing that is out right now that I feel like would also like potentially put you to sleep.
I binged that all in one day, and I did watch it right before I went to bed because it's so comforting.
Oh, Nathan Lee Graham is in it.
Yes, he is. It's so good.
Okay. Well, we just did a before the episode What's Making Us Happy This Week. So let's transition back to the Kane Chronicles. Maybe the Kane Chronicles will offer us insight into the world on this Tariff Eve. It's chapter 34.
It's also a recession novel.
That's so true.
It's true. Recession Eve, guys. Because apparently we're not in a recession. I found that out like a few months ago, and I was like, this isn't the recession. There's more.
There are like multiple different indicators people look at. Unemployment hasn't really risen to the point that most people look at both at like unemployment as a really fundamental one, and that hasn't happened yet. And there hasn't been like a specific bubble burst, although you can make that argument for a lot of sectors right now. I don't know.
It might be like Monday.
It really might be Monday. Yeah. Ooh.
The sunrise on the recession. Okay, where did we last leave off?
Salsa factory.
New Mexico. We were destroying Sekhmet with salsa so that she would turn into a cow to get herself some milk, which is also funny because what is she's like milking her own udders? Like, I don't know about that. You know?
They need a visual of that, and I kind of glad we did it.
Yeah, but anyway, that's where we were. We need to get some help from Doughboy, and now we're heading towards Phoenix, Arizona with Amos, Carter, Sadie, and Zia.
Wait, Amos is
not Amos.
Just kidding.
Not Amos.
Where's Amos again?
Amos, we like left him behind. He was like, I'm going to distract Sekhmet. Everybody run. And then we haven't seen him since then.
He failed his job because he didn't stop her for very long. And I'm like, so where were you after that?
Power scaling Amos is kind of a difficult, interesting journey throughout these books where it seems like he is maybe on par with the most powerful magicians alive, but exactly what that means in terms of being useful to us seems to vary quite a great deal, situation by situation.
But maybe it's because some other influence that's going on wasn't as effective.
Maybe. Chapter 34. Doughboy gives us a ride. We are still in Carter's POV. As the chapter name suggests, we are using Doughboy to reanimate a coat, basically, to drive us. Because Rick... You will never see Rick riding somebody under the age of 16 driving a car, specifically.
Except for Talia.
Yeah. Also, wasn't she driving at one point? But that was Apollo.
Oh, but she had a learner's
permit.
She had a learner's permit, and Apollo was right next to her, and she was literally about to turn 16 the next day. That's totally legal. Being supervised, by a family member who is of an appropriate age. Family member
who was flirting with her.
Yeah.
Illegal for other reasons.
Yeah. And we saw Zoe drive also, but she's
immortal.
Thousands of years old.
Yeah.
So I cannot control traffic.
I genuinely, I'm pretty sure this is true, that we've never seen like a 15-year-old, 14-year-old drive in any of the Rick books.
Teens can commit murder of monsters, but he draws a line at illegal driving.
Yeah. In much the same way that like on Phineas and Ferb, every time somebody is like flying off of a roller coaster, they're wearing a helmet. Like even if the roller coaster is descending from space. They'll have it on, you know?
New season of Phineas and Ferb coming soon. Recession indicator.
Woo.
We need to make our own fun in the backyard because we can't go anywhere.
Ooh, it's all back.
Anyway, Doughboy's driving because we're all kids and we can't drive. He's an animated coat. Great. This is all basically a setup for Carter and Zia to have a conversation in the back of the car. This won me back. I feel like their dialogue it's been an up and down. Sometimes I've been really confused about what we're doing and how we're characterizing people and what their dynamic is supposed to be and if I like it. But I think we're back.
Their dynamic felt a little uneven to me. And I won't say unearned, but I feel like this chapter was good because it had an objective, it had focus. Zia has to tell Carter something. Things are getting in the way.
Yes. We are accomplishing tasks. The dialogue has a purpose. It's not, it is layered conversational topics. And also, I feel like the writing style, he really drops into... I don't know if I genuinely don't know if YA authors still write this way, but if you were picking up a YA book published sometime between 2011, 2015, this is the writing style of we're getting emotionally intimate. There's a lot going on. So the writing is going to Ernest Hemingway sort of slow itself down. We're going to have these short, crisp sentences that are picking out individual details. So letting you know that this person is sort of sensory overload. So much is happening right now. Do you know what I mean? Is this resonating for anyone else? This idea about how a certain person, as it shows teenagers being unable to process intimacy,
small details, short sentences.
Yes, heavy focus on the dialogue, where everything that isn't dialogue is not a descriptor of an emotion. It's just she twisted her head this way. That reminded me of this, or her hair had this smell that wafted over to me in the breeze, or the storm abated a little bit. The dialogue, the storm picked back up, which is literally the way it's written in this. They keep interspersing it with these very short, crisp lines about how the weather outside is changing to let you know that the gods are intervening and we're having a passage of things, but also just give you a beat because so many things are happening.
And also to indicate, the storm going on between the two of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
The weather is changing. The relationship is confusing.
There's a line that says, "She looked at me urgently. The thing I need to tell you, the thing you need. It sets secret name. The storm surged. Thunder crackled. And the truck shuddered in the wind."
This is one of those writing styles where I genuinely cannot tell at this point in my life if I believe earnestly that this is the best way to write this kind of scene, or if it is an automatic nostalgia response that when I see this, I'm oh yes, this is what it means for teenagers to be figuring out their relationship with each other. I think it is effective, but literally I wouldn't be able to tell you if it wasn't. People write romance obviously in other ways. I'm not a part of the current romantasy wave that is consumed everyone who is engaged with commercial fiction, but I don't believe that they write in this style.
They don't. My friends, so they don't. I don't partake, let's be clear.
It's very simple.
Yeah.
Oh, should we read the dialogue?
Yeah.
Zia squeezed my hand, which sent a tingle up my arm. "You're kind, Carter, but you don't know me. Not really. I suppose Iskandar saw this coming. What do you mean?" Zia took her hand away, which kind of bummed me out. "When Desjardins and I came back from the British Museum, Iskandar spoke to me privately. He said I was in danger. He said he would take me somewhere safe, and..." Her eyebrows knit together. "That's odd, I don't remember." A cold feeling started gnawing at me. "Wait, did he take you somewhere safe?" "I think so." She shook her head. "No, he couldn't have. Obviously, I'm still here. Perhaps he didn't have time. He sent me to find you in New York almost immediately."
Is that not basically a reveal?
It is basically a reveal.
Well, Carter thinks that that's the Godling reveal.
I think that is. Personally, I think that's the Godling reveal too.
That would explain why Iskandar's doing what he's doing, but I guess the only question for me is what did he do? My primary shock at this was not the Godling reveal, because I feel that also we're pretty sure at this point, right? Are we not pretty sure about the Godling thing? This is, I feel the real the shop, the Shopsy stuff up until now, maybe magic works differently, maybe the orbs coming out of her mouth or not out of her mouth, the orb that flew up out of her head, maybe I
always picture Haunted Mansion.
Me too. That's what I imagine too.
Like, it could just be a part of the world building they haven't locked down yet. However, this is really giving, like, oh, he did something to you and you don't remember. And, like, the timeline isn't adding up. Like, what? How many other options are there?
Yeah. I think at this point, we haven't seen, like, Shopties to a level of degree where they're, like, body doubles or whatnot either.
Yeah. There is one other thing that is not sort of like a lore, history, logistical details confirmation giveaway, but I really felt like this was maybe the strongest signal, even in this chapter. Quote, as she talked about getting exiled, she had the same expression on her face that she had worn then. Not regret or sadness, more like confusion. As if she herself couldn't figure out why she was rebelling, or what the first gnome had meant to her. I guess this could be giving multiple things. This could be giving, oh, she is a teenager who has never had friends her own age, and so her emotional processing capabilities are a little different and unusual, and maybe she, I don't know, like, isn't super in touch with being able to name her feelings. I felt like this was also, like, more strongly giving, like...
She does not know.
Yeah.
It felt like it was like a copy without having the real details or something, you know? Like, you give an outline.
Like, she wouldn't maybe have, like, a sense memory, like, body keeps the score type of reaction to losing her home if her body isn't keeping the score, you know? Or, like...
It's a fact, but not an emotional response. Yeah.
Something about Carter developing feelings for this girl who, like, may not be a full person is really sending me right now, because something about Carter in the, like, awkward, like, neurodivergent way that he is, like, falling in love with this person who isn't, like, a full person. Carter's not following me.
No, I'm just trying to think through the implications of this, but I think this is right.
Okay, we don't know anything for sure right now. If Zia is not a girl, but Zia is a Shopti. If Zia is a Shopti and who like doesn't have full emotional processing capabilities or like a full normal childhood or anything like that, and Carter is this human boy who has a different brain and a different childhood, and they somehow find each other, and like that becomes like mutual like attraction, and they see this like similarity in each other, even though one of them is not a human and one of them is a human. I still think that is precious.
That's the question, though. Do you fall in love with the Shopti or do you fall in love with Zia?
This whole series, without saying too much, there's going to be a lot of Spider-Man adjacent tropery. Everybody needs to buckle in. It's giving Spider-Man. It's giving maybe, I don't know. It's like somewhere between Spider-Man trope and like, I was about to say Succession, but I meant Severance.
Yeah.
But that's also not exactly right, because it's not like obviously, we don't know any of the mechanics of how hypothetical, unconfirmed Shopti Zia would react to real person Zia. But it seems like for the most part, she has the memories. She has most of the same personality. Like if like the other people who are wizards are like not treating her differently, then she must be mostly the same, right?
Wait a second.
But this is giving the Jean Grey. This is giving the Jean Grey and Madeline Pryor situation.
I think that's the right. I think that's right.
This is the right analogy. So is that did he
like we diverged a week ago, maybe?
Exactly.
I didn't realize until right now that you're saying that this is a version of Zia and the real Zia is somewhere far away because of the whole... I'm sorry, I'm stupid. The real Zia...
Wait. Okay. But the reason why this is giving Zia is the Shopti version and not just a Shopti full stop period is this like Iskandar comment about the, like memory gap. I think that's what's giving... What was the reference? I'm so bad with the X-Men's actual names, even though I like know the stories.
Jean
Madeline
Grey,
Pryor, right?
Jean Grey and Madeline Pryor. Because Jean Grey is Jean Grey, Madeline Pryor is the clone of Jean Grey that was swapped in and had a baby with Cyclops that ended up becoming... With
Scott, who can tell, right?
Yes. Yeah. No one could tell. No one didn't tell until like Jean Grey popped up on the doorstep, was like, guys, what's up?
Yeah. Okay. So that's all... I think that's all right. But the other big clue is that like when they're having the Godling conversation, Zia's big objection to this is they would know. Desjardins and everybody else, all of these other people around the First Gnome would be able to tell if they were walking around with a Godling all the time. And we also then get this thing about how she's hearing the voice. She's hearing some disembodied voice telling her the secret name. I think when we link all of these things together, that story is saying like, okay,
at the event at the same time, and there has to be that Nephthys has to
like
go
there must
somewhere.
be some version of Zia who is a godling and is the host of Nephthys. However, it can't be the version that is out around with us right now and interacting with Desjardins and doing all of those things. And also,
because otherwise the House of Life would have figured it out.
Plopped her immediately. And her magic would have been different. It would have been a completely different situation.
And it's Iskandar who has separated them and not told Desjardins about it.
Yes. And that's where the explanation is. It's like we have this like moment where Iskandar says like, I've noticed something different about you. I'm going to take care of you. We're going to get this figured out. And then memory gap. We don't know what happened. But
and she flopped away somewhere. Something Nephthys.
So this is Inizia. This is Inizia. And Audizia is somewhere else.
Yes.
I think that is the right way to think about it. This is, except that, of course, they're not severed.
But that's like, interesting. That's why it's
quote unquote, Inizia has all of the same memories, personalities, and Jean Grey, Madeline Pryor is the better way to think about it.
It is, because Shaptizia this is Madeline Pryor, Jean Grey is somewhere else.
It's a divergence. At the point of
they share the same memories.
Iskandar hiding away. Yeah.
Speaking of the recession, I do need to rewatch and dive into the X-Men. I think it's time for that.
But you should really just watch the X-Men 97, 98.
Oh, the cartoon.
Yeah, because that one goes into the Jean Grey Madeline
Pryor.
Yes,
the cartoon was actually, that was pretty banging.
And that goes into the Jean Grey Madeline Pryor stuff pretty well. And the questions about like, who is who? What is identity? What is memory?
We know if this is going to get a second season? Like, I really feel like I need them to cover the other important mutant stuff. Like, I want to see the Wanda No More Mutants.
Ooh,
like I need to, because I'm not going to read all the comics, but like I need them to do
That's going to be so good. No More Mutants. Oh.
Anyway, okay, we're dialing back. We're dialing back in. This is the current working theory of the Zia situation. But I do feel like all the pieces. This conversation is just based on what we're seeing right now in this chapter. Zia's logic, which does make sense. Like everything she's saying about like I can't be a godling because they would immediately figure it out. Like that totally makes sense.
Everything makes sense, but nothing is adding up.
Yes, there is a missing piece that can reconcile everything, and it is basically what we just described.
So we wrap up this chapter.
When Amos arrives, Amos pops out of nowhere.
Yes.
Badass entrance. That's a movie entrance. When you talk about this book playing out like a TV show or movie, this is a good example of this. Like he appears in the middle of the road. The truck slows immediately. It is just him.
That's terrifying. I know we're in the desert.
Yeah.
I do kind of picture him like soaking wet, standing in the middle of the road, like a dark figure that we cannot quite make out until we get closer in the headlights, and then
another hint of his possible associations. He's given a horror movie type entrance.
Yeah. It is suspicious. Oh, there's like one fact that we forgot to mention, which is that Carter at some point in this conversation, as a way of trying to comfort her, like, I don't know exactly how to frame it. At some point in this conversation, he says, we could go off and like, you can run away with me and Sadie. The three of us will go rove now that you are kicked out of the house. And she seems like she is both emotionally moved by this gesture and also immediately is like, that's ridiculous. You will both also fail with that. Like, no matter what happens now, the house is going to hate you. They're going to be chasing you. The gods are going to be after you. You will, like, none of us
into the woods.
Have any hope of.
You said it yourself, Dale. We could survive there. Sadie in the woods. That's like Prim in the woods.
It really is true. You're so deeply Hunger Games filled.
Wouldn't it be Zia? I feel like Zia would then be Katniss.
Zia is Katniss. Carter is
Peeta. He's Peeta, I think.
And
I don't know.
Sadie.
I don't know that
Prim.
Zia is Katniss.
You think Sadie is Katniss?
I think that Carter is Katniss. Carter is Katniss because Carter is about to be forced to become a pharaoh, and he has no interest in that.
Forced to be a leader.
Carter wants.
Yes.
Carter is the one who wants to run away. That's what I'm saying. Carter said, "Let's go." Like you said, we could go, and Zia's like, "No." So like they're gonna come after you. This is bigger than you. You have to play your role.
Zia is Haymitch? No, Zia is Cinna?
No, Zia is Gale.
But
no, boo.
Thank you, Carter.
Oh my god. All I'm saying is Carter's Katniss, nobody else tracks.
I also feel like Zia isn't really that much being like, you have to plan and play your role. I think she is more just being like, realistic and saying,
You
like,
don't
you
know
can't
me.
run away. Like, you think that you'll be able to escape these people and you were wrong, they're better than you. And, like, there's no version of these events where you can actually successfully hide. Is I feel like what she's getting.
Hamish?
She's not saying, like, you're going to be the Pharaoh. That's next chapter. That's Isis.
Let's go to the next chapter. Let's take a quick
Yeah.
break and then let's go.
Clorox Sentiva smells like grapefruit. Cleans like Clorox. And feels like...
Okay, we could be here all day. Try Clorox Sentiva for a trusted clean with long-lasting freshness. Also available in lavender and coconut. Use as directed.
Shopping is hard, right? But there's a better way. Stitch Fix online personal styling makes it easy. I just give my stylist my size, style, and budget preferences. I order boxes when I want and how I want. No subscription required. And she sends just for me pieces, plus outfit recommendations and styling tips. I keep what I love and send back the rest. It's so easy. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/Spotify. That's stitchfix.com/Spotify.
Oh my God, it's the coolest thing ever. Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? Well, check this out. It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic, famous foods from restaurants across the country, anywhere nationwide. I've never found a more perfect gift than food. They ship Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garten's famous cakes. Seriously. So if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT.
Okay, chapter 35, men ask for directions and other signs of the apocalypse.
Never has there been a truer sentence than that.
Sadie perspective, she's like, I'm going to lay down to get some sleep, but of course my ball has to travel because I can't get a restful night's sleep. So she goes and she has a conversation with Isis in her dreams. They talk about Bast.
Bast slander.
Yeah, Isis apparently, like, is treating Bast like a common servant.
What's her deal? What's her damage?
I mean, like, both simultaneously not surprising, but also, like, why? You can't even pretend to get along with Sadie for, like, No respect. No respect. No decency. No decorum.
No, Bast's keeping you safe.
Somebody just died. Like, can we... Damn. She refers to her as a good servant. Literally.
She was like, it's so hard to find good help these days. That's basically what she says, like, so hard.
Yeah. This book, I do appreciate these books really not letting you ever forget that, like, we don't actually, like, even though we can find common cause with the gods sometimes, like, you should never like them. They're really, like, all, like, such elitist, out of touch, irreconcilable. Like, they're really trying to emphasize this, like, you need the human host who is, like, gonna fight back and actually inject humanity into this.
Do not sympathize with the ruling class.
Yes. Isis, the bulk of this conversation is her sort of laying out the roles that she sees for everybody moving forward. Specifically, this is where she says Carter's going to become Pharaoh. It is necessary. It's going to create order again. And you are going to be like the Pharaoh's like you're going to be chief of staff or something. It's a little bit less clear, but she's like, Sadie, you're also important.
She doesn't say what Sadie's going to be. She doesn't say what Sadie's going to be, but immediately Sadie's like, what? I can't be the Pharaoh? And then she's like, realizes, I just loved that Sadie was like, before even considering it, was like, why can't I be the Pharaoh? And then she was like, well, yeah, I actually don't want to be. But she still had to put her foot down and be like, well, how come it can't be me?
Which is correct. That is the correct immediate first response.
It is.
Yeah. But it is true. Her powers lie elsewhere. We don't know where yet.
It's giving, I don't know,
It's
it's
not
like
clear.
giving like Lady Macbeth, but like as a mom version, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Like, she's supposed to slot into the role that Isis had in the myths, where, like, she is the real power, she's the strategist. She couldn't beat anybody up, but she's scheming, she's cooking up her potions. She, you know.
Cersei.
Yeah, I think that's also fair.
Less crazy Cersei.
But also doing incest. Ooh, that's classical, you know, mythology Isis, not Sadie. Sadie's not doing incest. Yes.
No. Well, yeah, no.
I think we've heard this from a few other people, but this is a reminder that this is going to be a trilogy. Isis has to let you know. Set is only the beginning. All of the challenges that you're dealing with and all of the maneuvering we're doing, that is not for this battle. We are also trying to maneuver for something afterwards that is worse. I don't think that's really a surprise. Other people have sort of been talking around this a little bit. Like, we've been getting the whole nut job Set is also my child. Like, he's not even the real villain. There's the whole Bast Apophis thing. Like, we know that there's bigger, worse evils coming. But I guess she's linking these two ideas. This, like, okay, Osiris has to take a certain place, Horus has to take a certain place, you have to take a certain place. And that is, like, part of this next phase. Anyway, I feel like that just about wraps up the conversation. Isis is not seeming super likable. After the dream, this is a pretty short chapter. We're just about, I don't know, we're like just about done with this. There's like a short little negotiation between like Sadie and Zia. This is really interesting because, of course, in the prior chapter, Zia was like, I'm going to reveal the secret name to you. But it doesn't happen. They get interrupted when Amos shows up. And so now Zia is turning to Sadie, which is like, I don't know. This is a thread that I definitely am appreciating a lot more this time around. As a kid, I don't think I was really tracking Zia and Sadie's relationship very much at all as like an evolving, complex, interesting phenomenon. But now we're really like, it's so interesting to see Zia being like, okay, even though I have this whole romantical thing going on with Carter, I tried to do this with him. But, you know, Sadie, you and I have our own thing going on. We are also like, you know, sort of like vaguely antagonistic girls who are friends, and like maybe I'm kind of your mentor and maybe you have some feelings about that, but like somebody has to know the secret name, and like maybe it should actually be you. And then they have this like negotiation basically where Zia is trying to say like, I'll tell you the secret name, but like you need to you have to use it now. Like I think that you know in your heart that Amos is the host of Set, and so like while he's driving, like you need to lock this down. You need to prevent this from getting worse. You have to take your shot. And Sadie basically is like, okay, even if you are right, like what if you're wrong? You know what I mean? Like where Sadie's like, I think that you're probably right. It seems like this is true about Amos, but also like if you're wrong, then we've lost our shot. Then we're like totally out in the woods, nothing left.
Another interesting point is that like Zia or this Zia cannot use the name for whatever reason. That Zia herself cannot say the name.
I didn't love that.
Or this form.
This chapter has been a lot of people being like, I think you know in your heart that you shouldn't pursue greater power and responsibility. And me being like, do I? Do I know that in my heart? Do I know in my heart that Zia shouldn't be like the one saying the spell of destroying Set? I guess maybe now that we think she's a Shabti for almost certain, like maybe that's some sort of reason to not do it. But like the reason that they're giving is like blood. Again, we're back to the blood.
Yeah. I would have liked more if it was just fate, destiny. My intuition is saying I shouldn't do this and it has to be you, as opposed to blood, genetics. Our DNA is saying it has to be you.
Or like if Zia were like, I am too much of a girl boss to be getting mixed up in this. I have all of these other duties that I must attend to. Like my role in the destruction of Set is actually this other way cooler thing that you don't have enough knowledge to do. Which also seems plausible, you know, because she does know a lot of things, and we believe that she has much more technical competence than anybody else.
Yeah, she could be, you know, she's the more spell competency too. She could be on like the defensive side versus actually trying to take down Set.
Yes. At any rate, this negotiation doesn't really resolve itself.
Because Amos says that we're close, very close, and he seems a little happy about that.
Yeah.
The line goes, Amos smiled as if this were good news.
Amos is scaring the crap out of me right now. He might as well be giving like a subtle, like slow creeping grin as he bares his teeth and they walk into the storm.
We're close. Very close.
Yeah. Okay, we're almost done. I feel like we're really like, we're reaching the final battle now. We're in the final
act.
Yeah. And there's a lot that we still haven't resolved. How are we going to complete the spell of destroying Set? We literally still don't know. What is Zia going to be able to do? What is this even going to look like? Who is Set? I guess we'll find out.
Yay! God, I love this book. I'm so glad we're talking about the Red Pyramid. The King Chronicles are so good. Sorry we spent most of this episode talking about the Hunger Games. Hopefully that was fine with everybody, or you just kind of skipped through it if you didn't want to hear it. And once again, happy Tariff Eve to everybody.
Woo!
We're
Make
all
your
in this
one
together.
last purchase now, or don't.
Yeah.
Or just, you know, like lock away that money, invest in some sort of natural commodity that cannot lose value.
Yeah. We're writing this out together, and that's all I've got. My brain is rotting with the Hunger Games right now. Stick around. We'll see you guys next week. Follow Sophia. Follow Sophia's Substack. It's Analysis Paralysis. Always linked in our show notes. And we'll see y'all next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.